Today's book is the story of a young boy who, as a baby, loses his family as a result of a magical war. He carries with him a permanent physical reminder of this horrific event, and as he grows up, he is ostracized by other children his age. One day, an encounter with his bullies causes him to accidentally perform magic, and he discovers that he is actually a wizard. Despite the best efforts of his only remaining blood relative to keep him at home and stop him studying magic, he is whisked away by a powerful wizard to a magical school, where he befriends a kind, goofy boy and a smart, uptight girl, learns how to fly, and discovers the truth about his past, that he is in some way bound to the darkest wizard of their time. The book is, of course, The Iron Trial. What do you think it was, Harry Potter? The first thing you may notice about this book is that it is by two authors, which always worries me because the more writers at the whiteboard, the more confused the end result. The only real exception to this I've ever heard of has been the Expanse series, but that's only going what I've heard about it because I've never actually read it. You may recognise both authors' names. Cassandra Clare is known for the Mortal Instruments series, which turned into the Shadowhunters TV show, and Holly Black is famous for writing the Spiderwick Chronicles, as well as a few other YA and teen fantasies. Having read none of their books before, despite owning one of Cassandra Clare's trilogies, I wasn't really sure what to expect going in. But I certainly wasn't expecting it to literally be Harry Potter. Looking back, I really oughtn't be that surprised, as I'm pretty sure the City of Bones books started out as Harry Potter fan fiction. And I'm really not exaggerating. This book is unashamedly Harry Potter, just with different names and a few of the backstories switched around. The book follows 12-year-old Callum Hunt, or Cal, who lives with his father and is always getting into trouble. No one really likes him, his classmates make fun of him for having a gammy leg, which is almost cartoonishly cruel, and the adults don't like him because he's a sarcastic little so-and-so, whose witty quips are so clever they feel outdone by a literal child. He goes to a magic school called the Magisterium, where he learns about the 5 elements that make up magic: fire, water, air, earth, and chaos. We find out about the big bad, who is called the Enemy of Death, or the Enemy, which is, of course, very different from Flight of Death, aka Voldemort. And, I mean, if you've read the first Harry Potter book, you know exactly what happens in this book. And if you've read all the Harry Potters, you know every single twist. I really hope that doesn't count as a spoiler. I mean, I did like some of the world building. I'm a sucker for order and patterns and technical stuff, so I really liked how all the 5 years of the school are named after different metals: iron, copper, bronze, silver, and gold. And that the students have these wristbands which denote which year they're in, with little charms they earn for completing certain tasks, sort of like Scouts badges, I suppose. That's all really good fun. I liked the Magisterium being in caves and tunnels. I liked that the food was like lichen, how'd you say that? All the food was that and mushrooms, but somehow they taste like regular food. There was this one scene I did quite like, where one of the masters transforms a stack of bologna sandwiches into the characters' favourite foods, which was quite neat, though it did make me ponder how vegetarian-friendly the resulting meal would be, as it apparently doesn't lose its essence as food. Also, Angie Sage did it better in her Septimus Heap series, except the sandwiches were cabbages, which are, of course, suitable for all dietary requirements, except the cabbage sympathisers.
Oh, my cabbages!
There's a plot twist I actually did quite like because I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it's ruined about a chapter later, but for a short while I thought the book was doing something new and interesting. I also liked how Cal doesn't want to go to the magic school at the beginning and purposefully tries to flunk the entrance exams. That was quite interesting too. Oh boy. Firstly, the tone is everywhere. The prologue is quite dark, all things considered, with some fairly graphic description of a mass murder scene. The aftermath of it. It is horrific, but not gratuitous. Then, for the most of the book, the tone takes a nosedive. It sort of reminds me of the opening chapters of Harry Potter with like the Dursleys in the Muggle world. Perfectly suitable for kids, but it really doesn't match the prologue. Nor does it match the fairly graphic description of a teenager getting her head knocked off by a metal claw near the end. The characters are unfocused and don't take serious situations seriously. They could be out in the cold looking for their lost best friend, and it's at night and one of them can't walk properly, and then they'll stop to have this random attempt at a humorous conversation. Like, no, don't stop to make bad jokes. Go look for your friend. He's the only nice character in the book. And yeah, like, all the characters suck. Most of them are thoroughly unlikable and only get better when the authors decide to make them better, I suppose. The only characters I actually liked were Aaron, because he's genuinely nice from the start, and Warren, who's a lizard who turns up for like 2 chapters, then promptly sods off for the rest of the book. The humour is bad. Cal is meant to be witty, but his first 2 quips in the book are "shut up" and "sorry for being awesome, losers," both of which physically pain me to read, and the rest of the jokes similarly fall short. World building doesn't make any sense. The magic world is kept secret, but the Magisterium don't even tell the kids applying that it is a magic school until they turn up for the entrance exams, already packed with their luggage for if they get through. So if you don't get in, you have to go home and then unpack everything, which is just cruel. Apparently, the tests are to see if the kids have aptitude for learning magic and control, which implies if you suck, you're out, unless you're the main character, of course. But they also said that if you get through, you have to go to the school, because having an untrained mage is dangerous because they can't control magic. But the ones who have bad control presumably don't make it in, but surely they're the ones that need the training. So it just seems odd to me to just not let some people in, when surely anyone with magic is a danger if they're not taught. The prose is bland and lackluster. It's not terrible, but it's pretty forgettable. And really, it's just unoriginal. Absolutely none of what I said in the opening is exaggerated to make this seem more like Harry Potter than it is. His mum dies when he's a baby. He's left with an injured leg that never heals. He cracks the earth open when he's being bullied once. He's under the mentorship of one of the most powerful mages, Master Rufus. His friend Tamara is clever and strict, but eventually very friendly. And his friend Aaron, which literally contains the name Ron, is a bit goofy but kind enough. Their backstories kind of get swapped, as Tamara's the one with the magical family and feels she needs to live up to them, and Aaron's the one without the magical family trying to prove himself. There's even a bully at the magic school who comes across as a snobby rich kid, but is revealed to be under intense pressure from his ancient magical family as well. Although he is also revealed as not actually being that rich either, his family having lost their fortune in one of the Mage Wars, so I guess that makes Jasper totally original and definitely not just Asian Malfoy. There's also a student who comes across as an idiot, but under extreme stress apparently can actually perform magic. You know, like Neville, whose magic was so bad his family thought he was a squib until someone dropped him out a window. Oh, and there's also a prophecy. And it doesn't end there, but we'll get to that. So you know how I said if you've read all the Potters you know the twists? Let's explore. Firstly, the twist that did surprise me was that the chosen one, who is a Makar or Makar, who is a mage with affinity for chaos magic and extremely rare, turns out to be Aaron. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, it's the friend, not the main character. Although Aaron not only doesn't have magical family, just doesn't have family and was tossed around through foster care in his childhood, so he's kind of got a Potterish vibe to him anyway. Then the main character, Cal, gets a pet, a wolf, because of course, but it's not an owl, so it's original. And it's posited that Cal is a chaos ridden. That is something that has been wiped clean with chaos magic, but because Cal was a baby when this happened, he's no longer like a blank slate. This came up because the wolf puppy is also chaos ridden, so it's a special pet. So, darn it, Cal is still special. The effect of Aaron being the chosen one is dampened. The climax sees Cal, Tamara, and the wolf Havoc go to save Aaron from the clutches of the evil people. The evil people are a bloke called Master Joseph, who trained a mage called Constantine, another chaos person, and together they created the Chaos Ridden. Started the war that murdered Cal's mum and loads of other mages, and just a bunch of other evil stuff. It turns out there is a traitor among the students. Drew, was only pretending to be an idiot the entire time, and was actually a well-trained mage working for the evil guys, using an unliked teacher to keep his cover when he tried to do evil stuff. Darn you, Drew. Who, by the way, isn't intimidating because he's 12. Doubly not intimidating when he giggled whilst performing his evil deeds, which just reminded me of this. There was also this ongoing joke about him thinking the Magisterium was going to be a pony school, which was bad to begin with and excruciating by the end of the book. I was pretty glad when he got his soul sucked out or whatever happened to him. Anyway, they save Aaron, but Cal is cornered by a cloaked figure who turns out to be Master Joseph! And Master Joseph reveals the terrible truth that when Cal was a baby, a dying Constantine, aka the enemy of death, who wanted to live forever, found a way to elongate his life by transferring his soul into another vessel, Cal. So yeah, Cal is a Horcrux, but worse, because his body contains Constantine's full soul, not just a part of it, and Cal's soul is, dead. So Cal is horrified that he can't remember ever being Constantine. But everything makes sense now. There was also this, hoo-ha about Cal's eye colour, grey, being the same as Constantine's, which is important for some reason, and definitely something I haven't heard before. They escape back to the school, but Cal faints on the way and wakes up in the infirmary where his friends visit him with sweets and stuff. The book ends with the three friends completing their iron year, despite it not being the end of the year, and thus becoming fully fledged apprentices. The end. Iron Trial is a book that, on the surface, is fine, especially it's just a fun read for kids, barring the horrific scenes of death and decapitation. But honestly, if you want a book about a magic school and dark wizards, read Harry Potter. If you want a kid-friendly read about an apprentice learning magic and having adventures with his friends, read Septimus Heap. It's far more fun. And that's it for this week. Thanks for watching and see you next time.